always is. We talk about the coaching, we talk about athletes. It's right or wrong when it comes to where your mind's at and why you're doing something. And a lot of the influencers or other people, maybe someone who doesn't compete but they're an influencer, they look like their life is a certain way. You have no idea the hell what's going on outside of that for that individual. No. And you don't know what they're lying about too. So just a news flash, guys. Social media is social media. If the owners of Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and all that shit shut down those applications tomorrow, what would life be like for you? Ask yourself that question truthfully. Because for me, I know I'd still have my corporate job. I'd still be working. I'd still be bodybuilding because I love it. I'd still have my fiance, my 2 dogs, my family. What would you have? And ask yourself that truthfully and see if you need a true reevaluation of where certain parts of your life are. Again, doesn't mean you have to stop putting everything you have into bodybuilding. You just have to learn how to give other things more as well. So I hope that's a really good lesson for someone listening, because, and it's not easy, guys. Are we allowed to curse on here? I know I have a couple times. Sorry, but I'm fucking tired.
It doesn't.
I'm fucking tired, a lot of the time, guys. But my sleep is not the best. Even though I try, there's so much going on. I could be doing so much better. I still am a little bit sick and under the weather. And I'm 3 weeks out from the Olympian, which sucks. There's so much more I could be doing better for myself, but right now I have these other things that need me in priority. You know what I mean? And other things to attend to. And I try to do my best to balance it the best I can without ruining, my relationships, my friendships, my work, to the best of my ability.
Yeah, dude, I think you just hit on plenty of great points, man. It's bodybuilding is super, super fulfilling in itself, and it's something that we love, but it's also there's so much more to life, man. It's what's the point of doing all this if you don't have anybody to share it with, bro?
I joke around my fiance, and I even made a joke to Dan yesterday, and I was like, when we have all the success from the sport, I want to retire all of us and our families and move somewhere like Aruba or Italy, where I would just move and get the fuck out of here and live life with my people. The people, my ride or dies, my OGs, the day ones. That's what I want. Them to be, us all to be together when this is done, knowing that this legacy and what we're doing together gave us that. Because it's not the Justin Badurina show. I talk about it takes a village, and I got a fucking army. It takes a village, and I have an army. I said that in Tampa. I've said that on some podcasts now, some interviews. That's my quote, my coin, quote unquote, that. That's me. It takes a village, and I have an army that I'm grateful for. My army will do anything for me, and I'll do anything for them. So that's what it's about. This is, the army won Tampa. Some of the comments from Tampa were yo, his friends and family were the loudest ones there. Yeah, they were. And I would be if I was in the stands for them too. It takes an army. It takes a village, and I have an army.
Man, that's beautiful, dude. And I think, that's what this is all about, bro. It's about the moments. It's about being present in those moments with the people that you love. And, this shit's hard. It gets really hard. It gets really hard at this, I mean, you've done countless contest preps, been crazy lean, and people aren't going to understand it unless if they've been there. Because it's your body's in certain mode.
Yes, for sure. But also, let's give you a shout out too. You compete, and you run this channel, and you have a full-time job, and you have a missus, and you might be looking to buy a home in the future and a child, and how do I manage all this? How do I do this? How do I juggle all this? It's another thing too. People might be watching this that don't compete and don't ever want to compete, but they love it, and they might be focused on other parts of their life that they're juggling too. child and work and like other endeavors and ventures and whatnot. And like we all work hard to make it work. And like to say someone works harder or less hard, has more on their plate, less on their plate, it's all subjective and relative. Sure, there's people that are in
Right.
some awful situations. There's people that have been dealt an awful hand. And I pray for those people daily. I pray for everyone. I hope that everyone's okay, right? So everyone's working hard and is going through the ringer. Everyone is.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, it's one of those things like everybody talks about you want to be in a stable position to really start bodybuilding and like step on stage, but there's also a point in which if you wait till you're ready, are you really ever ready? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to just jump in, baby.
That's right. That's right, and that's a really good point too. Like you, and I think I think what I talked about with managing, like family and friends and other things, like it's about figuring that balance out for yourself, right? Like you have to be doing well enough to. You can't be piss poor living out your car to bodybuild. I mean, people probably have done that before, and if you have, hopefully you don't find it disrespectful. It's not something I would do. I would not do that. I would not. I would not do that. Um, you know what I mean? But like, you're right. Like, you might not mentally think like I can make this work. And sometimes I learned this from a colleague. Sometimes you have to overdo it a bit because it'll make you work a little bit harder. But you can't overdo it to the point of you're going to dig yourself that hole. It's kind of like you're here on the end of this mountain. There's a big canal, and this is what you have to jump. And it seems tough, but you think you can get it, and you're going to go for it. It's realistic, and let's say you can get it. You made that jump. You put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. That's impossible. You're gonna die. Like if you go trying to make that jump that's a little bit more realistic, and then you dig yourself that hole, right? Like where you're not getting out. It's not worth it to then go for that at the time. Like so, what you said, like you have to just jump, but you also have to. You really gotta, you know what I mean? There's that fine line. There's a fine line, right? That balance that we kind of talk about, right? That balance.
Yeah, and you kind of speak to it. It's really good, especially I mean, I think this is regardless of who is listening, but for young men especially, man, it's so important to take on responsibility and to find things to really occupy your time. It's very important to have things to work on and to have like a purpose to wake up for, even if it's just,
To
something
challenge you,
small.
challenge
Yeah, you
you,
need something to do something,
um,
man.
to challenge you, to make you uncomfortable. Again, within reason, like all this stuff within reason.
Yeah.